Hey everyone, I am Marie Ferdinand-Harris, and today we are reading Proverbs chapter 12 through 15. I love Proverbs. Here we go. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. A good man will obtain favor from the Lord, but he will condemn a man who devises evil. A man will not be established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous will not be moved. An excellent wife is a crown of her husband, but she who shames him is like a rottenness in his bones. The thought of the righteous are just, but the counsel of the wicked are deceitful. The word of the wicked lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright will deliver them. The wicked are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous will stand. A man will be praised according to his insight, but one of perverse mind will be despised. Better is he who is lightly esteemed and has a servant than he who honors himself and lacks bread. A righteous man has regard for the life of his animal, but even the compassion of the wicked is cruel. He who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who pursues worthless things lacks sense. The wicked man desires the booty. Did that say booty? The wicked man desires the booty of an evil man, but the root of the righteous yields fruit. An evil man is ensnared by the transgression of his lips, but the righteous will escape from trouble. A man will be satisfied with good by the fruit of his words, and the deeds of a man's hand will return to him. The way of the fools is right in his own eyes, but a wise man is he who listens. But a wise man is he who listens to counsel. A fool's anger is known at once, but a prudent man conceals dishonor. He who speaks truth tells what is right, but as false witness, deceit. There is one who speaks rashly, like the thrust of a sword. But the tongue, let's read that one again. But the tongue of the wise brings healing. Truthful lips will be established forever, but a lying tongue is only for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of those who devises evil, but counselors of peace have joy. No harm befalls the righteous, but the wicked are filled with trouble. Lying lips are an marbles in the mouth, abomination to the Lord. But those who deal with faithful are his delight. A prudent man conceals knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaim folly. The hands of the diligent will rule, but the slack hand will be put to face labor. Anxiety in a man's heart weighs it down, but a good word makes it glad. The righteous is a guide to his neighbor, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. A lazy man does not roast his prey, but the precious possession of a man is diligence. In the way of the righteous is life, in its pathway there is no death. Let's move on to chapter 13. A wise son accepts his father's discipline, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke. From the fruit of a man's mouth he enjoys good, but the desires of the treacherous is violence. The one who guards his mouth preserves his life. The one who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. The soul of a sluggard craves and gets nothing, but the soul of the diligent is made fat. A righteous man hates falsehood, but a wicked man acts distinguishedly and shamefully. Righteous guards the one whose ways is blameless, but wickedness subverts the sinner. There is one who pretends to be rich, but has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, but has great wealth. The ransom of a man's life is his wealth, but the poor hears no rebuke. The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked goes out. Through insolence come nothing but strife, but wisdom is with those who receive counsel. Wealth obtained by fraud dwindles, but the one who gathers by labor increases it. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but desires fulfilled is a tree of life. The one who despises the word will be deaf to it, but the one who fears the commandment will be rewarded. The teaching of the wise is the fountain of life. To turn aside from the snare of death, good understanding produces favor, but the way of the treacherous is hard. Every prudent man acts with knowledge, but a fool displays folly. A wicked messenger falls into adversity, but a faithful envoy breaks healing. Poverty and shame will come to him who neglects discipline, but he who regards reproof will be honored. Let's read 19 again. Desire realize is sweet to the soul, but in its abominations to fool to turn away from evil. He who walks with a wise man will be wise, but the companion of a fool suffer harm. Adversity pursues sinners, but the righteous will be rewarded with prosperity. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. Abundant food is in the fallow ground of the poor, but is swept away by injustice. He who withholds his rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines him diligently. The righteous has enough to satisfy his appetite, but the stomach of the wicked is in need. Let's move on to chapter 14. The wise woman builds her house, but the foolish tears it down with her own hands. He who walks in uprightness fears the Lord, but he who is devious in his ways despises him. In the mouth of the foolish is the rod of his back, but the lip of the wise will protect them. Where no oxen are, the manager is clean, but much revenue comes by the strength of the ox. A trustworthy witness will not lie, but a false witness utters lies. A scoffer seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge is easy to one who has understanding. Leave the presence of a fool, or you will not discern the words of knowledge. The wisdom of sensible is to understand his ways, but the foolishness of fool is deceit. Fools mock at sin, but among the upright there is goodwill. The heart knows its own bitterness, and a stranger does not share its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will be destroyed. Let's read that again. But the tent of the upright will flourish. There is a way which seems right to a man, but it ends the way of death. Even in laughter, the heart may be in pain, and the end of joy may be grief. The backslider in heart will have his fills of his own ways, but a good man will satisfy with his. The naive believes everything, but the sensible man considers his steps. A wise man is cautious and turns away from evil, but a fool is arrogant and careless. A quick-tempered man acts foolishly, and a man of evil device is hated. The naive inherit foolishness, but the sensible are crowned with knowledge. The evil will bow down before the God. Let's read that one more time. And the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated even by his neighbor, but those who love the rich are many. He who despises his neighbor sins, but happily is he who is gracious to the poor. Will they not astray who devises evil? But kindness and truth will be those who devise evil. In all labor there is profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the folly of the fool is foolishness. A truthful witness saves lives, but he who utters lies is treacherous. In the fear of the Lord there is strong confidence, and his children will have refuge. The fear of the Lord is the fountain of life, that one may avoid the snares of death. In the multitude of people is the king's glory, but in the death of people is the prince's ruin. He who's slow to anger has great understanding, but he who is quick-tempered exalts the folly. A tranquil heart is life to the body, but passion is rottenness to the bones. He who oppresses the poor taunts his maker, but he who is gracious to the needy honors him. The wicked thrust down by the wrongdoing, but the righteous has refuge when he dies. Wisdom rests in the heart of one who has understanding, but in the heart of a fool it is made known. Righteousness exalts a nation, but the sin is a disgrace to any people. The king's favor is toward a servant who acts wisely, but his anger is toward him who acts shamefully. Let's keep reading. Last chapter. Let's move on to 15. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of a wise makes knowledge acceptable, but the mouth of a fool spouts folly. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, watching the evil and the good. A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but perversion in its crushes the spirit. A fool rejects his father's discipline, but he who regards reproof is sensible. Great wealth is in the house of the righteous, but trouble is in the income of the wicked. The lips of the wise spread knowledge, but the heart of the fool are not so. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but he loves one who pursues righteousness. Grievous punishment is for him who forsake the way. He who hates reproof will die. Sheol, and Abaddon lie open before the Lord. How much more the hearts of a man? A scoffer does not have one who reproves him. He will not go to the wise. A joyful heart makes a cheerful face, but when his heart is sad, the spirit is broken. The mind of the intelligent seeks knowledge, but the mouth of the fools feeds on folly. All the days of the afflicted are bad, but a cheerful heart has a continual feast. Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and turmoil with it. Better is a dish of vegetable where love is than a fattening ox served with hatred. A hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but the slow to anger calms dispute. The way of a lazy is a hedge of thorns, but the path of the upright is a highway. A wise son makes his father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to him who lacks sense, but a man who hath understanding walks straight. Without consultation, plans are frustrated, but with many counselors, they succeed. A man has joy in apt answers, and how delightful is timely word. The path of the life leads upward for the wise, that he may keep away from Sheol below. The Lord will tear down the house of the proud, but he will establish boundary of the widow. Evil plans are an abomination to the Lord, but pleasant words are pure. Let's read 12 again. You know what? I'm getting a little tongue twist. Let's just start with verse 27. He who profits elicits trouble in his own house, but he who hates bribes will live. The heart of the righteous ponder how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours out evil. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. Bright eyes gladden the heart. Good news put fat on the bones. He who let's read 31 again, a little bit more tongue twister going on. It's early, guys. I'm sure you guys had an early morning, right? Let's continue on verse 31. He whose ears listen to the life-giving reproof will dwell among the wise. He who neglects discipline despises himself, but he who listens to reproof acquires understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction for wisdom, and before honor comes humility. Thank you, guys.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to Fear into Faith. This is our global Bible revival, where we're on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Bible cover to cover in a year. I'm your host, Summer Day, and with me in the studio today is Marie Ferdinand-Harris. I got that right?
You got it.
Perfect. Yay! Okay, well, you just finished reading your sections of the Bible. Before we get into that, will you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from?
Absolutely. I am Marie Ferdinand-Harris, born and raised in Miami, Florida. I went to LSU, became a Hall of Famer, a Kodak All-American.
That's right. We just happen to have a Hall of Famer sitting in the chair with us today. Tell us more about that.
Well, I've always loved basketball growing up, and I learned early on that, wow, I can use sport as a vehicle to capitalize off a academic or athletic scholarship to college. And it happened. I was able to go to LSU and break all kind of records. And
tell me about the records you broke.
Well, becoming one of the all-time steals leader at LSU, which is hard to do, but with work ethic and effort, it's possible.
Man, that's awesome. I've never heard of that. You had the most steals. Come on.
Yes.
You're sneaky.
Oh, very sneaky. I was also a gold medal winner with my college team, where we competed in Taiwan and won the gold. Yes, and became, like I said, a Hall of Famer, a SEC great.
Okay, when you say gold, is that Olympic gold?
Olympic gold medal.
Wait, stop
yes.
it. Yes. You're an Olympic gold.
Oh, yes.
Did not know this. You might be the first Olympic gold medalist I've ever met.
Hey.
Just a few things. I'm just a Hall of Famer. I'm just a gold medalist. Yeah. Wow, what else?
And I was blessed. God was so good to me. I was able to play 12 years in the WNBA, becoming a 3-time WNBA All-Star. So, God's given me great gifts and ability, and I just made the most of it.
Oh, did you get to do a lot of traveling and stuff during those 12 years?
Oh, yes, because not only did I play in practically every state, but during our off-season, the WNBA off-season, most of the girls go overseas and play. So we play internationally. So I've been in every market, pretty much Poland, Russia, France, Spain, anywhere in Europe, name it, I've been there. Passport is just loaded with stamps. But yeah, I've been blessed to be able to travel the world.
Just a slightly exciting life.
Yeah.
What's one or two of the favorite countries you went to?
Turkey. Turkey was by far my best experience. I enjoyed Turkey.
Okay, I have not heard this before. Why Turkey?
Just because we had a lot of Americans in that market, so it felt like you were back at home. You were back in the U.S. And then the food, the culture, it's just pretty different in Turkey. Very chill. People are super friendly. Great sports environment.
Yeah.
And so it was just a really good choice of going to Turkey and playing there for a whole year.
So amazing. One of our readers that we've had was a Harlem Globetrotter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's really neat.
I had no idea you had done just that much. I knew you had played basketball, WNBA. That's said correctly.
Yes.
I didn't know all the other things.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, gold medal. You say
Three-time WNBA All-Star.
Stop it right now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
And when did you stop doing that?
I stopped playing in 2013 season. Yes, 2013. I retired and was on to the next journey.
And what's been the next journey for you?
Well, it was very interesting because when I retired, I felt like I had developed as a player, but I was neglected as a person. Growing up in my hometown, it was not the best place to raise a family. Where we lived was a town called Little Haiti, and that town is where, I don't know if you're familiar with First 48, but it's where the most crime, drugs, teen pregnancy is up.
What state is this?
And this is in Miami, Dade County. But my parents are from Haiti. My parents came to USA with no form of education. So the goal for my mom and my dad was to make sure we had good education. Yeah. So although we were in a really tough environment and it was darkness all around, I always focused on where lies a light.
Amen.
And through sports, the doors open and it changed us.
You're not just a Hall of Famer. You're one of those stories of raised in this environment, but you saw a way out and you worked real hard to get out.
Yes, I focused on the light. I focused on an opportunity, and I heard that announcement at the age of 13. Anyone interested in girls basketball, come try out. And I gave it a try. I was open-minded, and it changed the trajectory of my whole life.
Okay, there's always that stereotype with basketball. How tall are you?
Oh, I'm actually not one of the tallest one. I'm only 5'9", but I played. One of my teammates was 7'2".
7'2"?
And just to let you know that height is just a number, I also had a teammate that was 5 feet. So it's all about the heart. The work ethic.
Work ethic for
Yes.
sure. Work ethic for sure. Let's talk a little bit about work ethic, because I feel like that's something that we glamorize gold medalists. We glamorize, movie stars or singers or whoever it is. And I think a lot of times we don't realize the level of hard work.
Yeah.
Give us just what was hard work for you? When you say you worked hard, what did it look like?
Hard work was learning to do the things that I didn't want to do when I didn't want to do it, but making myself do it. And that always came with the prize. So I would say that's my best definition of what hard work is, what ties in with discipline.
Yeah.
Doing what you don't want to do, but to be able to get the things you want to get.
So good. I feel like you needed to be in my living room yesterday with my 15-year-old. She's complaining about something with school being hard. And I'm like, you don't understand what happens when you do the hard things.
Yes.
So good.
I was told once that we got to teach our kids to learn. Hard is not going away. We have to teach our kids to learn to do hard better.
Oh,
just learn to do hard better.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. I love it. So you said you grew as a player, but you didn't grow as a person. Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, growing up, my family, my parents, my dad wasn't in the home. My mom and dad split, and my mom was raising 8 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. And my mom was always working 3 jobs, never at home. And I can remember every summer we're locked in a house. We didn't have the resources to participate in Boys and Girls Club, YMCA. We just stayed home. So I just felt like those important foundational skills was never laid.
Yeah.
So I never had the ability to maximize my platform because I was always quiet. You know, one thing about me, I was going to come in, I was going to be a professional and do my job, but I never knew the importance of relationships, networking, being all about confidence. I didn't understand effective communication. I was a mute. You know, I didn't understand this throughout my career. I got to the highest level and I didn't have confidence outside of the court.
So off the court, you were quiet, you were reserved, you didn't have confidence, just only
on the court is where I found my voice while I was on the court. So I battled with finding identity. Who was I outside of sports? And it never became a hardcore reality, not until I retired.
Is this common?
Very
Does this happen
common.
a lot in that arena?
It's very common for athletes, you know, because when you play sports, it's your life. It's all you do every day, all day. So you don't really understand time management and how important developing as a person is. It's more important than just developing the player, you know, because the person is who you are, who you're going to be forever. The athlete is going to retire. So some of these skill sets I never mastered, you know, so I felt like when I retired from the WNBA.
Okay, I'm going to pause you right there. We're going to hear more about that. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this. Oh my goodness. My friend, we've got Marie here, 3-time gold medalist, Hall of Famer. Oh my goodness, the things that you...
3-time WNBA All-Star.
3-time WNBA All-Star.
Yes.
Okay, and how many gold medals?
Just one.
One gold medal. Okay, Hall of Famer. Holy moly. And then you retired in 2013, and we were talking about how you only had confidence on the court. I never think about that. You think of how good those professional athletes are. I think we envision they must be like that in all of their life because we think of what it takes to be that professional, that alive, that confident on the court. We just assume, well, that's how they are. And I think, you know, my husband used to work for a lot of celebrities, performers. I could name, you know, famous musicians and stuff. And I was always shocked to find out many of them were introverts, and many of them could perform in front of 50,000 people, and then off stage, very different person. So you're helping me to realize, oh, they're a different person off the court. And I asked you if that was common right before break. I asked if that was common. You said it was.
Yeah, it's very common in our market. Athletes are dedicated to their jobs, and that's 24/7. You know, when we're not playing, we're in the gym mastering that jump shot. When we're mastering the jump shot, then we get out of doing that. We're home watching Sports Center. It's just a 24-hour cycle where we're just nonstop. It's not until you're done with sport you realize that, oh my gosh, I neglected the person. I never developed me. You know, I was just developing the athlete, but the person was forgotten.
So it sounds like God has given you a heart for that now, almost like a reaching back, and that's where you're kind of wanting to go and maybe solve that issue and figure out how you can help develop not just the player, but the person. We're going to know more about that. Tell me about that vision.
Well, that vision is more on having programs, even a facility. And that's my biggest goal, is a facility where we run programs where at elementary school.
You can check out the rest of this interview right here or by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.